UFC 311 Makhachev versus Tsarukyan 2. Full card predictions. Let's get straight into it. This will be an exciting card. I'm not gonna lie. I'm looking forward to it. This card might be card of the year. I'm not gonna lie. This might be card of the year. But let's hop straight into it. Starting with the early prelims, ending with the main event. Let's hop straight into it. First fight of the night, we have Tiger Ulanbekov versus Clayton Carpenter. Give me Tiger. Tiger hasn't been finished. He's more of a submitter. He has finishes over ranked opponents. For example, Cody Durden has a sub over him. He's versing an undefeated guy, but I don't think it really matters. He's on Team Khabib, and I'm just not going to count them out. Team Khabib has been on a tear. He's training with Khabib, Islam, and that gym is just full of a lot of talent. I'm confident in Tiger to get this one done. He's a vet. He should be facing higher comp, in my opinion. Not like people just kind of coming up. Yeah, honestly, I think they should do this. I think it'd be good for the flyweight division if they just already have him kind of moving up in ranks. He's not 5'7". He's about like 5'9". He's damn near Islam's height. But yeah, he shouldn't really be fighting this level of comp. I feel like he should be moving up in ranks. But yeah, he also has 4 first-round finishes. So yeah, Carpenter only has 2 wins by submission. I just think Tiger's wrestling ground game is just going to be too much for Carpenter. And I do have him to get this one done. Possibly by submission. Moving on up the card. Ricky Turcos versus Sopaj. Sopaj, I don't even know if bro's still awake. He went out so bad. On that fight, he took on short notice. It was his first big fight in the UFC. 30 seconds in the round 3. Literally got flying kneed bad. He got put to sleep really bad. But yeah, I still think he gets this one done. He has the finishing ability. Ricky Turcos, he looked good against Raul Rosas Jr., but man, he just has no finishes. He lacks in finishes, and I'm just not confident in him as I am in Sopaj to get this one done. So I'll say Sopaj will be the pick for this fight. And Turcos does have the height and reach advantage, but I don't think that really matter that much. Then we have Rinya Nakamura versus Muin Gafarov. And I'm going Rinya Nakamura. In his last UFC fight, he was a minus 1,500 favorite. And he's a wrestler. Nakamura is currently undefeated inside the UFC. Gafarov hasn't really found a finish in the UFC and has lost 2 in a row coming inside the UFC. Those 2 losses have came inside the UFC. I'm just more confident in Rinya to get this one done. And Nakamura has beat a jiu-jitsu guy. It's like his wrestling base is very strong. Whether you think he's a little overrated or not, well, that's up to you. You know, his last fight he was a minus 1,500. Now he's a minus 400. I just think Gafarov hasn't really had that impressive of a performance. And Rinya is a good wrestler. I think the wrestling will give him an edge. And moving on to the next fight. We have Carol Rosa versus Eileen Perez. If you don't know Eileen Perez, she has an OnlyFans. And she be twerking after every win, bro. She's a movie. But let's break down this fight. My fault. Carol Rosa, she's 18-6. She's only really lost to good competition. And Eileen Perez. I will do a more in-depth breakdown of this. I really like Eileen as the underdog. I think Eileen can get this one done, but this is the problem, right? Carol Rosa is the more technical striker. Eileen Perez is kind of like that wrestler. She has a really good grappling base. Her striking's okay. But, Carol Rosa has good takedown defense. So it's like, will Perez be able to land these chain wrestling takedowns? I don't know. And Carol Rosa Jr. hasn't been finished. inside the UFC. I believe her 2 losses only came from decisions. So yeah, it's gonna be an interesting fight. I do have Perez winning though. She's on a 4-fight win streak, and don't get it twisted. Cal Rosa is a dog. She's nasty, but I just think Perez. She's on that win streak, and she finally got her first finish in the UFC. So I wouldn't count her out. And then we got Grant Dawson versus Diego Ferreira, and Grant Dawson's hilarious. He had that one post fight interview where he's talking about his girl's ass or whatever. I mean, yeah, but Diego Ferreira, man, he's 39 years old. He's mostly a finisher, and he's seen the distance 4 times out of 22 wins in the UFC. I'm talking about Grant right now. He's mostly a finisher, man. He's lost to Bobby Green, and that was his one loss in the UFC. So you could argue, like, it's a little 50-50. He got KO'd by Bobby Green, but majority of Grant Dawson's wins come by submission. And Ferreira hasn't really gotten subbed in the UFC. He's 3-2 in his last 5. Listen, I think Ferreira's last 2 wins aren't that impressive, and I just think the grappling advantage will favor Grant Dawson in this. He's a big dog. Some people call him boring. It is what it is. I like Grant Dawson in this fight. Moving on up to the prelims. The first fight in the prelims, we got Zachary Reese versus Cedric Dumas. I have Zachary Reese. He literally just went to his first decision recently inside the UFC. He's literally been KOing everybody in the first round. The cardio issues were, the cardio questions were in the head. Like, is he gonna really be able to kind of take fights to the distance? He took his last fight to the distance, put an absolute beating on that guy. Dumas, don't get it wrong. Dumas is not like trash. I just feel like he won't really be able to win this fight. Zachary Reese is just too explosive. He might even get this one done in the first 2 rounds. Yeah, I mean, and Dumas also struggles with fighters that are a little explosive. So, I have Zachary Reese for the pick. Then we have Jailton Almeida versus Sergey Spivak. Now, before I get into this, Sergey Spivak isn't a bum. But Jailton Almeida is just next level, man. This guy's grappling is next level. His control time over his opponents. He's a big favorite. I think he's like a -400 favorite, but I mean, rightfully so. I mean, he's proved it. Jailton Almeida, I'm all behind the hype train. But Sergey Spivak is definitely impressive, man. He's like lost, I believe, to Tom Aspinall, and recently just subbed Tybura inside the first round off his back, and Tybura was nasty on top position. So, yeah. Almeida's definitely going to be in for a fight, but I mean, I just think Almeida's latest wins are more impressive than Sergey's. Give me Almeida by probably like domination, man. This guy's probably gonna go crazy. Moving on up the card, we have Peyton Talbot versus Rainy Barcelos. I don't really know how to pronounce his first name, but yeah, Peyton Talbot by murder, man. Like, this guy, Peyton Talbot, is literally an ore merchant. Yeah, he's looked so impressive in the Dana White Contender Series. He put an absolute beating on Cameron Simon. He's one of my favorite fighters. But like, not even trying to be biased. Barcelos is kind of on his way out. Payne Talbot, he's here, and I think he's here to stay. Has a bright future, and I think he's kind of like Paddy Pimblett in the situation where you probably just get like a lot of layup fights before they really start to like market him. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, Paddy Pimblett, he fought like Tony Ferguson, with Tony Ferguson on a losing streak. Fought Bobby Green. Bobby Green was like his first real big step up in comp, and he subbed him, I believe, first round. So, other than that, give me Payne Talbot. He was the biggest favorite in UFC history. Last fight -1600. This fight -1100. He's only seen the decision once. But Barcelos has a decent chin, even though he did get knocked out bad by Umar Nurmagomedov. Um, he Barcelos will have a slight grappling advantage, and if anything, he'll probably shoot more takedowns. But Payne Talbot does have some submissions, even though he prefers standing. I just think he'll get this one done. And then we have Johnny Walker versus Bogdan Guskov. Don't know why Johnny Walker's still fighting at light heavyweight, man. He should be going to heavyweight. I think Johnny Walker's just too chinny, man. Like, he's 6'6", and he's cutting down to 206. Like, god damn, bro. He's super explosive, but he's just so chinny, man. He got knocked out like 7 times. And then that one video where he's getting knocked out by the 19-year-old. Like, bro, just move up to heavyweight. Like, you're too tall. Like, he's damn near Volkov's height, and he's cutting down at light heavyweight. And Guskov has power. This is a really coin flip fight because Johnny Walker is just so explosive. He could catch someone with a flying knee, but I'm giving the edge to Guskov because Guskov did look decent against Ryan Spann. And, I mean, he has that knockout power. And knockout power against Johnny Walker is, like, just so, like, 50-50, man. Like, he's just too chinny. I can't really pick Johnny Walker against someone with KO power. So the pick will be Guskov. Moving on to the main card. Kevin Holland versus Reiner de Ridder. Reiner de Ridder did not look impressive in his last fight against Gerald Meerschaert, but Gerald Meerschaert is comp. My biggest problem here, I mean, I wouldn't even bet this fight. Like, me personally, but I believe Kevin Holland will win. Kevin Holland is going to be the pick, but Reiner de Ridder is a double champ in ONE FC, and he almost got exposed by Gerald Meerschaert. So it's like, on the ground, I think Kevin Holland can, like, hang with Reiner de Ridder. Reiner de Ridder probably has better BJJ. You can argue that, but the problem is here, Kevin Holland, we don't know what Kevin Holland we're gonna get. Like, he might just show up. He might not care. He might just be showing up to make a bag. I mean, that kind of happened last fight against Roman Dolidze. Even though he did get his ribs broken. I mean, I just don't know. Sometimes I feel like Kevin Holland tries, and I feel like sometimes he doesn't. The pick will be Kevin Holland. I'm not really too, like, crazy about Reiner de Ridder at the moment, but yeah, this should be an interesting fight though. Should be an interesting fight. And yo, Reiner de Ridder, I don't know, bro, got the weirdest build of all time. His ribs popping out and shit. But yeah. Then we have a nasty fight: Yuri Prohaska versus Jamal Hill. Now, you guys might not like my pick, but the pick will be Jamal Hill. Now, hear me out. I know someone's running to the comments. Bro's a casual. Like, listen, hold on. Let me just give you my explanation. I'm very actually torn between these fights. I picked Yuri at first. I was extremely confident in Yuri. I'm like, man, Yuri's going to be able to get this one done. But I don't know, man. He's coming off 2 KOs. I'm not saying his chin's gone or anything. I'm not saying that. I'm just like, I don't know. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, Yuri's, I don't know, man. He does have a good chin, but, like, he's coming off 2 KO losses against Pereira. I mean, both these guys are coming off KO losses against Pereira. But, I mean, Jamal Hill does have a solid chin, bro. Like, you can't count Pereira's fights against certain people, bro. Pereira's fights against certain people is like he's KOing everybody. And Jamal Hill went into that fight injured. I just don't like Yuri's style where he has his hands low. Like, Jamal Hill has his hands low as well, but, like, Yuri literally doesn't even put his hands up and then hit you with, like, one. He has, like, that one hip, like, power, 1 KO power. But this fight is a coin flip fight. I'd lean towards Jamal, though, just because I actually have confidence in him. But, like, damn, bro, like, Yuri has that dog in him. If this fight goes the distance, I wouldn't be surprised if Yuri just fucking, like, pulls something out his ass in the 3rd round. Like, I would not bet this fight. If Yuri wins, I'm not surprised. If Jamal Hill wins, I'm not surprised. I think Jamal Hill's like victory, his path to victory is literally like keeping distance, managing range, and just trying to be a little more technical on the feet than Yuri. Because Yuri is just so unorthodox, and you can't get sucked into these exchanges with Yuri because he's gonna crack you. He's gonna crack you. So yeah, I mean, also Jamal Hill went the distance, and Yuri subbed Glover. So you could argue Yuri fought even a better version of Glover than Jamal Hill, but I'm giving the edge to Jamal Hill, and I also like the fact that I'm getting some plus money out of it. But Yuri has that dog in him. I just feel like if anybody is gonna make this like a win happen, it's probably gonna be Yuri. And Jamal Hill is very unlikable at the moment. I get he's cringy as hell. But yeah, he can't really go into this fight thinking like he's the shit. I don't really know how to describe it. Like, he can't just go into this fight thinking like, oh, this is gonna be easy, walk in the park, bro. Like, Yuri's not an easy fight, man. When we're talking about the division, it's literally Pereira, Ankalaev, Yuri. He's number 2 ranked for a reason. And look at his resume. He's KOing like, bro, he has like 30 knockouts. Bro, he's like 27 knockouts. So if Jamal Hill can just be a little more technical on the feet, hopefully he's not coming in injured, then I'd give the edge to Jamal Hill. But if he doesn't get it done, or at least negate anything, Yuri has that dog in him. And yeah, hopefully Yuri's chin holds up, man. The pick will be Jamal, though. Beneil Dariush versus Renato Moicano. Both these guys completely different paths in their career. Moicano finally the favorite. He was literally the dog for his past 2 fights, put an absolute beating on Benoit Saint Denis. Beneil Dariush looks like a father, like looks like a good guy, man. Both these guys are grapplers. This probably will be a grappling matchup. It will be interesting. The pick will be Moicano though, because he literally can't afford to lose. Like, all jokes aside, man, I'm done picking against Moicano. I literally can't. I mean, I thought BSD would give him more problems, but holy shit, he put an absolute beating on BSD. And BSD's 2 losses, just to put this into perspective, I believe he has 2 or 3 losses. One is Dustin Poirier, and one is Moicano. Like, Moicano is on this fat win streak, cleaning up the new guys. He's literally cleaning up the new guys. In my opinion, he's like 1 or 2 more fights away from a title fight. And even though he said he doesn't give a fuck about title fights, he's just fighting for the bread. Like, bro, he's really that close to title fight. He's been looking so impressive. Beneil Dariush isn't a bum, though. Like, everybody's, I feel like, writing him off because he came off 2 losses from Charles Oliveira and Arman Tsarukyan. It's like, obviously he's going to lose to them. He was like the number 5 ranked, and those guys are ranked above him, so he's supposed to lose to them. But it's like, man, I just literally can't count Moicano out, though. This is going to be an insane fight. Do I think these odds should be that far apart? Yeah, I think these are fair odds. Moicano's on a fat win streak, and Beneil Dariush is coming off 2 KO losses. So the pick will be Moicano. This should be an interesting fight. Moving on up the card, we have Merab Dvalishvili versus Umar Nurmagomedov. And I mean, you would think Umar is gonna win, right? Like, he's just gonna smoke him, cousin of Khabib. But I don't know. Merab, I picked against him for O'Malley, but this is a completely different matchup. Umar is better everywhere. Their wrestling probably negates each other, but Umar is better in the striking. He has the better BJJ. He actually finishes people. Like, Umar has finished people on the ground. Merab's more like a wrestler, holding their knees to the thigh, and it's like, I don't know, man. Like, I don't think Umar is gonna have a cardio issue because everybody from Khabib's camp just doesn't really have a cardio issue. But Marab's way of winning is spamming takedowns. Umar's way of winning is like way more broad, if that makes any sense. Umar just has more ways to win this fight. And if Marab's just relying on his cardio and just shooting takedowns, I think it's going to be a problem. I think Umar's kicks he's going to be hitting Marab with are just going to really have him thinking about going for the takedown again. And yeah, I kind of feel like this is bad for Marab, man. Because, like, he's like one of these, he's probably going to want to wrestle with a Dagestani. And, like, the problem is, man, like, that's all these guys do. You know, they kind of start off with the wrestling. So, the pick will be Umar. But Marab could get it done. I'm not counting him out. But I just feel like Umar has more ways to get it done. Then we have the lightweight championship fight. Islam Makhachev versus Arman Tsarukyan. I'm going with Islam. Man, people are like just talking about, oh, dude, well, Arman has a chance. Don't get me wrong, Arman has a chance, but like wrestling wise, like yeah, they're wrestling negates each other. Cool. I still think Islam has the better wrestling, but Arman's kind of like get you on the ground and pound you, right? Islam just has the striking. He has the BJJ. Like, Islam is just well-rounded. He's good everywhere, man. And I just can't count them out. I have him top 5 all time. Like, I have him over Khabib in terms of top 5. I just feel like he's fought wrestlers. He fought Volkanovski. Do y'all not know how good Volk is? And he beat him, and then he KO'd him the second time? Do y'all not know how good Volkanovski is? Like, man, Arman's probably going to give him a run for his money, but I don't think this is Islam's hardest fight, bro. I think Volk was his hardest fight. Like, legitimately. Arman and Volk are kind of around the same height. Volk's like 5'6", 5'5", 5'6", 5'7", around that. It's kind of the same height, but Volk's skill set are just so, like, they're over here. Arman could get this one done. In every fight, the fighter could get this one done. But if it's going to be anybody in this division, it's probably going to be Arman, just because the wrestling. He has that wrestling, but he didn't look that crazy against Charles Oliveira. Everybody's like, oh, Arman beat Charles clearly ground and pound. Bro, Charles had like 3 submissions. And like he had, oh my God, I don't know, bro. I feel like everybody's just kind of counting out what Charles did in that fight, man. He had an armbar, and I believe the second round he had like a armbar cooking up, and then the horn went off. Then he had him in a darce. Arman's getting his fucking neck crushed for like 20 seconds. Like, you don't think Islam could do that, bro? The pick will be Islam Makhachev. Those are the predictions. Do me a favor, subscribe to Winnable. Tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend. Share this video with a friend. I appreciate you guys for tuning in. I just gave you guys the script again, and I'm out.